A Better You podcast is hosted by myself, Dr. Clifford Yun, physical therapist. We'll be talking about techniques to improve your mental and physical health. The ideas and topics discussed are based upon the experiences and research of myself and my guests. They do not replace the personal consultation of a trained clinician. If you or someone you know is having a mental or physical health problem, you should consult an appropriately certified clinician. Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the 5th episode of A Better You podcast. We have a lot of interesting things coming up in the future. I've got a couple of great interviews scheduled with a adult post-op spine surgery, adult scoliosis post-op, and the things that she has gone through pre-surgery, post-surgery, and all the things that are related to having scoliosis and from the perspective of an adult. So this is a great kind of perspective as a whole that I think the audience should know, and it's addressing a lot of things that I've been seeing in the support groups online as far as questions regarding pain. And it may give you some insight onto things that can help you mentally as well as physically prepare for pre and post surgery if that is the road for you. Also coming up will be a conversation hopefully with a yoga expert, a leader in the field of yoga, in particularly teaching men to do yoga, and he can talk about the difficulties that in itself can pose. As men, we tend to shy away from the things such as yoga and Pilates, and yet these things were made for everyone, and the benefits for yoga as well as Pilates, but the benefits for yoga specifically are immensely benefit for health, strength, stability, and overall wellness and mindfulness. And we're also hopefully getting in touch with a female women's health specialist, a physical therapist, as well as she's also a Schroth physical therapist. So the combination of the two, Schroth, scoliosis, physical therapy, and women's health, they are so highly related to each other. So I just wanted to let you know that those are going to be in the episodes coming up in the June and July months. Anyways, back to what I wanted to talk about today. Today I wanted to talk about the importance of realizing that these small gains are the foundation for larger gains. And I want you to think about this in relation to how the larger things that we tend to find that we think come out of nowhere and lose in life, balance, strength, these are things that we kind of take for granted, and these are things that we can often discount as some things that we just can't do or never had the ability to do. And I want everyone to stop and really think about that conversation. The idea that I never really had strength, I never really had endurance, I never really had balance. And I find that it is just like the excuses to say that I'll never learn a language, or I'll never be able to finish this book. These are all negative talks that we tell ourselves that set us up for that failure if we already find that our goal is not a goal, but our goal is failure, right? So to set our goal up, we must first think about how these goals can be achieved, that we can achieve balance, that we can achieve strength, we can achieve endurance, and we must first set realistic goals for ourselves. So therefore, for example, if you have sprained your ankle, or you have fractured your foot or ankle, and you can't walk, and you have spent 2 or 3 months in a boot or cast. No, it shouldn't. Depending on your extent of injury, 2 or 3 months of not walking on this foot ankle can create a significant amount of atrophy, and the thought process, the self-doubt will settle in. And once you are cleared to walk, cleared to put weight on this foot, you start to doubt if you'll ever be able to get your balance back again. And that's the extreme, isn't it? To an injury leading to a bunch of disuse, and then a fear of falling, fear of failure again. Now, if we bring it back to a different level, to the person that didn't injure themselves, but still has this fear of falling, fear of balance issues, and we can only attribute this to an inability or a lack of awareness of how to challenge their balance. So we must challenge our balance more often. That is the goal that we have to think of to attain a better self, a better version of our balance. We start this off with a very simple task. If you feel you've never had balance on your left leg, on your right leg, whatever it may be, let's try this task. What you're going to do is to stand up. You're going to stand up, stand tall, find your posture nice and elongated. You can have your feet nice and hip width apart. You can put your hands on a countertop or a chair right in front of you. And what I want you to do is I want you to begin to shift weight from side to side, left to right, left to right. Thinking about this little meter, 100% on one side, 100% on the other side, back and forth. Initially, we're 50-50, aren't we? But the second we start to push more weight onto one side or the other is the second we start to challenge the balance on that right leg or that left leg. So let's start with that right leg. If you shift your weight gradually over that right leg, increasing that 50% to 75%, and then up to 100%, and then gradually peeling that left heel off the floor and off the floor completely. And if you have to hold on, hold on. If you don't need to hold on, just let your hands hover over on top of that countertop or that chair that's in front of you. That's you challenging your balance. Each time you do this task, no matter how long you're able to hold it, you are challenging your balance. So I want to ask you, how often do you find yourself standing next to a chair, a countertop, a desktop? How often is this in your day? And how often can you spare an extra 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or a minute to challenge your balance? If we do not give ourselves the opportunities to challenge our deficits, we will not make gains. And that's the big goal I want you to think of this week on this episode of A Better You. No matter what the goal is that you are trying to achieve for your mental and physical health, you must set up those beginning, small, attainable goals and create those challenges. And if we don't provoke those challenges, you will not attain those bigger goals. Those failure talks, those commitments to failure will continue to be commitments to failure. And that is my lesson for you this week on A Better You podcast. So until next time, I do hope that you continue to challenge yourself, to commit yourself to be just a little bit better version of you. If you have enjoyed this episode of A Better You podcast, please like and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas for future episodes of A Better You. For more information about myself, Dr. Clifford Yun, and my services, head to cliffpt.com. That's CLIFFPT.com.